I've just stopped for a cup of tea, so I thought I would take the opportunity to let you know what I'm up to. Kevin and Ava turned this over the best they were able to, and that was really, really useful. And they did a really good job at clearing. And as I've been digging, I haven't found any dandelion or dock roots so far. And what I'm doing at the moment is shaping my beds. It's been raining, so we had a few dry days and Kevin and Ava were on here, and then it started to rain. So the soil is actually quite wet. So I'm digging it as I go, marking the paths, being really careful not to tread on anything that is going to be growing space, because it will compact and it's quite claggy clay, my soil. So that's what I'm doing. Now, this end I'm leaving for now because this is going to be my bean growing area. This is the north end of the garden, and I intend to put 5 wigwams at this end of the garden. And so the soil around the edges will get piled up into a central circle and the compost added, so that the beans have the good soil and the compost in the area that they're growing. I'm going to leave the wigwams open on the north side by leaving 1 or 2 canes out and not completing the wigwam. And that way, when it gets really hot in the summer, in the centre of the wigwam, I should still be able to grow spinach and lettuce. Now, the plan here is to measure and mark out the first bed that will run from north to south at this side of the garden. Using these as markers, these are actually electric fence insulated posts, but they are working really well. And I had them all in the right place because I had used them to make the walkway for Kevin and Ava when I brought them up. Now, I'm going to measure the width of the bed, which is there. I've already measured at the other end. Just going to make sure I have as much length in my guide string, my line, my planting line, because it's got to go up and around and do 2 lengths. Now, I don't want to take this string and walk down here, which will be a pathway, because at the moment the soil that's on the pathway that I'm digging out is going to go onto the bed. I don't want to compact it. So I'm going to take my line around this way. Make sure that's pulled tight and correctly. It's not going to reach all the way. I'm going to mark, so I know that's the edge of my bed there is correct. I'm just going to move this up a bit, because I can always remark that. It's like juggling with tools. It's actually a little shorter. So I've had this line marker for, gosh, 25 years maybe. There we go. That's done the trick. 25 years, and it's been fabulous. The only thing is, every few years, a little bit of the very used line that's used frequently gets a little bit rotted, and I trim it off and redo it. It could do with some new string. I'm going to leave this as a raised bed at the end and have walkways that come up. So there are 4 beds I've marked and 3 pathways, because obviously I have both edges of the garden as well. But rather than waste any space, I'm going to leave, I'm not going to dig the path all the way to the end, so I have that extra, I'm gaining that extra growing space. Now, digging out the path, I'm moving that soil over onto the bed on each side, so sharing it between the beds, and making domed beds and sunken pathways. Here we go. Not digging the whole width of the path here, because some of the soil will go on this bed, but also I'm making sure I'm making this line nice and neat, and then when I dig this side of the path that complete it and make it really neat, I'll have moved the line over so that I'm not having a wonky line up my pathway. Actually just started to rain. It was the forecast. It was the forecast, and I really couldn't believe my luck. When I arrived to blue sky, I knew it wasn't going to last. But my goodness, I feel like I've done a good job today. I feel like that's a good job. Hopefully now we can begin to see how the vegetable area is going to shape up. I need to put in my marker for the edge of the path up here and dig up this side of the path and put that material on that bed, and then I need to mark out the width of that next bed and head up the next pathway and start cutting that out. But for today, that's me. I'm not doing any more because it's started to rain and it's wet enough digging in this soil at the moment. I have one bed which I can rake over and knock into shape, but bits of grass to cut out at the edge at the bottom. Obviously the light was getting in the top, under the top somehow there. Probably a hole. It's a very old tarpaulin that I keep using until it falls apart because it's plastic and I don't like single use. So it's a tarpaulin I rescue because it was no good as a silage tarp. Farmers don't want that. They have to have no oxygen and no holes so air can get into their silage, otherwise it spoils and molds and it's no good to feed the animals. So I rescued that silage tarp. I've been using it for a few years now. I'll continue to use it until it really doesn't work anymore. Now, I haven't decided yet, and you can put it in the comments. I am thinking about two methods to grow my peas up this side. One is to use cattle fencing and fix that along the length, because that has the small rectangular holes and that will be very easy for the peas to latch onto, and it will give some structure and edge to the vegetable plot. The other thought I had is whether I should put a dead hedge in there. If I put a dead hedge in there, first of all, it will look really pretty. The peas will also like to scrabble up it. My only concern is whether the peas will grow inside that dead hedge and I won't be able to harvest enough of the peas. So I'm in a quandary about that. Your thoughts in the comments, that would be very much appreciated. And I'm going indoors now because it is raining. It's the next day now. I have spent this morning shaping and spreading some compost on the first bed of 4, and this one's ready to go now. Just walk down there. Okay, so that will be my bed, and on this side I will be planting my peas. And this will be the footpath and the access up and down. And as I put the beds in, another bed being here and then another path, you'll start to see the overall plan and design of vegetable beds. It's now raining. Oh, yuck, guys, yuck. I can't get my glove off. I can't get my glove off. I can't get my glove off.